But again, the United States surrendered to the 90-year campaign of denial by the government of Turkey. The State Department and the White House have continued the cowardly policies of every Secretary of State since Lansing, who have considered it more important to placate the Turkish government than to be truthful about history. The tactics of genocide denial are predictable, and the Turkish government has used them all. Question and minimize the statistics. Attack the motivations of those who tell the truth. Blame out-of-control forces. Claim that the massacres don't fit the legal definition of genocide. That's one of my favorites because I'm a lawyer. Even though 1.5 million people are killed, how many people do you have to have killed for it to be a genocide? But the Turkish government today has three favorites. First, blame the victims. Claim that the killings were in self-defense against people who were disloyal to the Ottoman Empire during a world war. The truth is, of course, that very few Armenians joined the Ottoman Empire's enemies. In fact, a lot of Armenians were in the Ottoman Empire's armies, and they were among the first to be killed. And certainly none of the women and children could have been in those armies that the Ottoman Empire was opposing, but they were murdered nonetheless. The second tactic is claim that Muslim Turks also suffered many deaths. Sounds logical, doesn't it? The problem with this argument is that the deaths were in battles with European troops, not at the hands of Armenians who were deported like sheep into the desert. It's a lie. And finally, claim that the deaths were inadvertent, due to lack of food and water, not due to intentional destruction. The falsehood of this claim is amply proven by these eyewitnesses and by American consular officers, missionaries, and most tellingly, perhaps, in the archives of the Ottoman Empire's own allies, Germany and Austria-Hungary. Right here in our national archives, we got 40,000 pages of evidence. And we also have the records of the Ottoman courts-martials of 1918 and 1920. This was not simply a byproduct of deportation. This was mass murder intended by starvation. So why can't a resolution that tells the truth about the Armenian genocide pass Congress? And here we run into two more tactics of denial that apply to us. The first is to claim that the current peace and reconciliation today are more important than blaming past perpetrators for genocide. The latest version of this tactic is the Turkish government's proposal to set up a historians commission, with half of the members appointed by the Turkish government and half by the government of the Republic of Armenia to, quote, study the facts of what occurred in 1915 to 1923. The problem with this proposal is that the Armenian genocide has been thoroughly documented and studied by genocide scholars, many of whom are not Armenian, and the historical record is unambiguous. In fact, in 1997, the International Association of Genocide Scholars, of which I'm president now, unanimously declared that the Turkish massacres over 93 years ago was a crime of genocide. So a commission of historians would only serve the interests of Turkish genocide deniers. There's no more other side to the truth about the Armenian genocide than there is about the Holocaust. But unfortunately, we finally get to the big one. don't tell the truth, because to do so would not be in current U.S. political, economic, and military interests. The U.S. has a huge air base in Turkey that we need for our wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Turks have threatened to close that base, cancel purchases of American military equipment, boycott American goods, and even pass their own resolution, get this, condemning 19th century U.S. government massacres of Native Americans. Actually, I think that's a good idea. In fact, a number of U.S. congressmen and senators have beaten them to it by years and have already introduced such resolutions about our treatment of Native Americans, and those resolutions should also be passed.